Okay, thank you. The first item of business is to add, delete, or modify the agenda, which is a good thing because there are actually quite a few changes to it. First, under item number 4, Brian O'Grady will be speaking for EPAP, not Candace. Michelle Walter has had a family emergency and will not be here, so items B and C are canceled. Under guest speakers, under item E, Janice Rice will not be speaking. And under item 12, the motion for financial support for EPAP will not be presented. Does anyone have any additional changes, modifications, or additions? Yes, Linda.
I'd like to add under new business on item C to suggest that the map of evacuation routes throughout the community be added to be included in the district newsletters as well.
It was. It was in the last.
Okay.
Do you want it? Moving quickly. Are there any other additions, changes? Yes. Under number 4A, Brian O'Grady will be speaking instead of Candace Jenkins. B and C are canceled. Under 5, E is canceled. And under 12, B is canceled. You're quite welcome. Okay, now I need a motion to accept the revised agenda as stated. Marcia has moved. A second from Anita. And is there anyone opposed to this agenda? Are there any abstains? Okay, it passes unanimously, and we'll move to item number 2, and that would be to approve the Delegate Assembly meeting minutes from our February 6th meeting. Does anyone have any comment on that? Does anyone want to make a motion?
I make the motion that we accept the minutes from the February 6th.
We have Linda made the motion and Ann Holford seconded. Again, does anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? And then it passes unanimously. And we'll move to the chair report. Oh, good, I get to speak some more. Yeah, if I do any more television appearances, I'm going to have to get an after card out of it.
An agent.
Yeah, an agent, there you go. Mostly what I want to talk about is that the Delegate Assembly Forum that was held last night, in my very jaded opinion, I think the people that worked on it did a great job. They really did. The changes that were made to the format were well received. We've received numerous comments from the membership that they thought that it was well done and well presented. And I just wanted to say to everybody that worked on it and all of the Delegate Assembly, good job. Good job, well done. And we'll move on from there. We're going to move to standing speakers, and from the EPAP Exec Committee, we have Brian O'Grady.
Oh, where do you go? Put it on, Brian. Hold the button.
Better?
Okay, there you go.
Okay. So it came to my attention recently that in the newsletter you're receiving, you get the report on the radio checks, on our monthly EPAP radio checks with all the EPAP coordinators. And when I looked at that through your eyes, I realized at the start of the year there were 8 of you that didn't have EPAP coordinators. So it's a little unfair to judge you on that basis, and I thought we would amend the report a little bit to indicate which districts don't have coordinators. But we'll probably leave the calculation the same, because the calculation is meant to report what percentage of Sun Lakes is in the loop for emergency communications if there's a sustained power outage. And if it's 70%, that means 30% of the people will be out of the loop. And The information that would be communicated there would be things like, what's the ETA for power being restored? What's the ETA for the freeways being opened? What are the evacuation routes that are currently open? So if people are out of the loop for that kind of information, I'm sure they'll get it somehow eventually. But within your districts, if you have an EPAP coordinator, the way it works is that coordinator's on the radio, they get the information, they share it with the zone captains, and the zone captains share it with the rest of the residents. And that's all I was saying, is we'll just keep that calculation the way it is because it's an accurate representation of what percentage of Sun Lakes is in the loop. We could do a second one to say what percentage is trying to be in the loop, but they're not. And that would be the ones that don't report that do have coordinators. But the last thing I want to say is if any district delegate doesn't have an EPAP coordinator and you'd like to have a radio, we can give you one because we actually have a job title called radio operator. And if you want to be in the loop, you just have to take a simple little walkie-talkie and turn it on. We'll give it to you and we'll show you how to use it. If anybody's interested, that's an option that you could consider too. Okay?
Are
Any
there
questions?
Any questions for Brian?
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Okay. And then we move to item 5, guest speakers, and the first one is Patricia Burrell, who's the secretary from the International Dancers, and I see she's brought just a cadre of beautiful ladies with her.
Yes, good afternoon, district delegates, board members, First Service, and residents. My name is Patricia Borelli, and I am the secretary of the International Dancers of Sun Lakes. With me today is Lourdes Lena, representing our folkloric dance group, Nora Huffman, representing our flamenco dance group, Beverly Gwennon, representing our jazz dance group, and Merle Nazareth, representing our Indian dance group. Thank you for this opportunity to share exciting news about our upcoming performance, Dance Rhythms. As part of our community outreach, we would be grateful if you could help us spread the word by including the details of this event in your March district newsletter. We have provided each of you a short overview of the dates, times, cost, and venue of our performance. It's on the back of the flyer. Here is a quick review. International Dancers of Sun Lakes presents Dance Rhythms. Get ready for an unforgettable celebration of global culture, music, and movement at the International Dances of Sun Lakes performance. Date and time, April the 5th at 6 p.m. and April the 6th at 2 p.m. The venue, here in the ballroom. Ticket sales will be available in the main lobby from March the 10th through the 14th and March 17th through the 21st. Ticket cost is $15. Some of you have already been contacted by a member of the International Dance Group about including this announcement in your district newsletter. We are here to support that effort and to reach the district delegates who have yet to be contacted. We truly appreciate your help in spreading the word and keeping your residents up to date on the wonderful activities here in Sun Lakes. Thank you for your attention to this request and for continuing to support our community's culture programs. I hope to see you all there. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Do we have any questions for Patty? No questions? We'll move on. Next would be Patrick Fraley. He's the president of HELP.
Thank you, Cal, and thanks for the opportunity. I'd like to introduce Chuck Massey, who's our second vice president, and we're both longtime residents of Sun Lake, so thank you very much. The reason I'm here today is twofold. Number one, to tell you about our supplemental food program, and it's at a time really with the economy being what it is that I think there's a lot of people in Sun Lakes that can use this. I want to tell you availability and how they would go about it. And also, if I can be a little bit of a salesman, talk about our volunteer opportunities for anybody here that would care to. And I believe you all have our flyer, and if you would be so kind that when you distribute your district flyers, if you could just attach that to it and give us a little publicity. HELP, you've heard the name, but it's really an acronym for Hope, Empathy, Love, and Prayer. We're a nonprofit food bank controlled by a board of 11 members. We're located in Banning, and we have been in the Pass area for 43 years. A lot of people don't realize we've been around that long. Our building's on 6th Street in Banning, and we've been in that building over 20 years. So we're well established. We're the largest distributor of USDA food in the Pass area. In addition to USDA food, we also purchase food ourselves and supplement what we pass on to our clients. There's two types of organizations that provide food. And the Pass area is fortunate because we have both those kind of groups, and they're both outstanding. One is what we call on-site. And that's where an organization like Carol's Kitchen, Table of Plenty, both great organizations, will prepare food, and people go to that location to sit down for a meal. And then there's off-site, which HELP is. And that's where once a month, people can come in and they get a basket of supplemental food to take back home with them and then supplement their food budget. We have 50 regular volunteers, and no one gets paid. From the board of directors on down, there's no honorariums or meeting expenses or anything like that. So any money that's donated to HELP goes to the purchase of food. We're open 4 days a week, 9 to 1 in the afternoon, and we provide, again, I'll stress it, supplemental food. Do we provide enough food for them to take home and live on for a month? No, we don't. But we provide enough food they can go back and supplement the food they've already purchased. In 24, to give you an example, we served over 9,000 families, and that equates to 28,000 individuals got food from us. And if that isn't impressive enough, that was up 30% over the year before, and believe it or not, 200% in the last 4 years. So our number of clienteles and number of people with needs skyrocketing, folks, and especially families with children. And I'd like to explain our supplemental food. Number one, no cost. People come in for food, there's no payment. The requirements, believe me, they're not overwhelming. Are you a resident of Riverside County? And do you need food? That's it, folks. We used to provide food. We used to just be limited to the San Antonio Pass area. There was an income requirement. Both those things have been removed by the federal government. So if a person is in need of food, they come and they tell us they're a resident of Riverside and they need food. I already told you about how much the need is growing. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Okay, thank you for concluding. Are there any questions for Pat?
Hi, Dolores Doherty, District 4.
Sure.
Is this for people that are residents of Banning, or is this also made available to the homeless?
Well, good question. It's the resident of Riverside County, that's all. Mm-hmm. And the homeless, we provide food, bags of food once a week that we take down to Faith in Action, and they distribute for us, but we purchase the food. And I apologize, I had other good information to give you. I didn't realize there was a time limit, but I will stick around afterwards, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
More questions?
Go ahead. That was, may I answer that question?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, there's really three tasks for the volunteers. There is the intake office. When people register with us, they come in and they sit down at a desk, and their information is entered in a computer. 3 people in that room, and it requires very minimal skills. In fact, I could probably do it, and I'm not very literate with a computer. So it's input. Then we have the thrift store. You have the people that sort the merchandise when it comes in. You have the people that price it. You have the people that put it on the floor, and the people who work the cash register. Then you go back to the warehouse, and those people are the ones that load the basket. We like them to have, be able to lift 35 pounds. And if they can do that, then they fit in very well. So I don't want to abuse my privilege here.
No, you're open for questions. I have a question.
Sure.
Are there specific times during the day that you distribute?
Yes, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock. That's for distributing of food, and we also take donations during that same person time.
So someone can come in any time between 9 and
Yes.
1?
Yes, and once you register, and I'm aware that people that come in for food, it feels awkward to them. They're embarrassed at times. But we're very discreet, and we have a great way of handling it. That's not an issue. We don't ask if they live in Sun Lakes or whatever. Are they a resident of Riverside County?
Any more questions? Thank you,
Yes.
Pat. Oh,
Good afternoon, Jim Nickel, District 3. I support the Banning Senior Center. I just did my CAN drive, and I was going to bring up that the services they offer and let everyone know. It doesn't conflict with you, but you must be a Banning resident, and you must show proof that you live here. Mm-hmm. Is that any conflict with what you're doing?
No, not at all. That's for the Banning Senior Citizen. In fact, once a year, we go down to the Banning Citizen Center, and we register people and invite them to come down.
Okay, so we're working together.
Yeah, very much so.
Very good, thank you.
Very much so.
good point. Any more questions? Thank you, Pat.
Thanks for your time.
Next would be Captain Mike Romero. Captain Mike Romero from Securitas.
Good afternoon, district delegates, administration, members. Thank you for having us. I appreciate you giving us the time. I'm going to be giving you guys a quick presentation, so thank you for allowing me to speak today. The goal of this presentation is to clarify the roles of security and when other entities such as the HOA management team or law enforcement should be involved. While security plays a crucial role in maintaining community peace, we also work within specific legal guidelines and authority. I'm going to go over some common community issues that we see here in Sun Lakes and the role security takes. One of them is noise complaints, barking dogs, loud musics, and parties. Security can respond to noise complaints and request compliance from residents. If the issue persists, documentation is forwarded to planning and compliance for further action. If the situation escalates, such as aggressive behavior or disturbances, law enforcement will be called out for further assistance when needed. These complaints can range from loud parties to a dog excessively barking. We document thoroughly. We go out there with our body cams and make sure that we're thoroughly recording all incidents and provide all the necessary details over to planning and compliance for them to take whatever necessary actions are needed to hold those accountable. Unhoused or individuals or suspicious activity is another common occurrence here at Sun Lakes. We know Sun Lakes has seen a rise in the homeless outside of our perimeters beyond Sun Lakes walls. Security will assess the situation, document the behavior, and determine if the individual is a safety concern. As much as I'd love to give our boys in blue credit, Banning PD has made it clear to us that they will not always respond to calls regarding homelessness outside of our walls unless the law is being broken. My team will do everything we can to monitor these individuals and inconvenience them if necessary to prevent them from entering Sun Lakes. We've been extremely successful in holding a lot of the homeless individuals outside of Sun Lakes. As soon as we get reports or we start noticing a pattern where they're trying to attempt to jump any of our walls or break our perimeter gates, we respond immediately. We've been extremely successful in holding a lot of these homeless individuals outside of our perimeter walls. I'm big with the see something, say something, so give us a call and we'll make sure to respond accordingly. Should a resident have a reason to believe that there might be an individual also posing as a caregiver residing in a resident's home or granting entry to outside unauthorized guests, we encourage those who are witnessing these actions to provide a signed written statement with these concerns. Security can then address these matters with planning and compliance and try to add restrictions on those accounts when necessary. That's going to help us aid in preventing further individuals from entering the community as long as we monitor these accounts. So if any residents reach out to you, district delegates, with those types of concerns, encourage them to get a written signed statement out to us, and we'll send it over to planning and compliance to address that issue immediately. If trespassing is observed, we notify law enforcement and attempt to remove these individuals as long as my team's safety is prioritized. When unlawful activity is observed, such as a break-in, gun violence, drug activity, or elder abuse, it's always encouraged to call 911 immediately and follow up with a call to security. Chances are we'll be the first ones on the scene to start the necessary documentation and provide details to an armed officer upon arrival. My team will be recording these incidents all the time. CC&R violations, such as hedges, political signs, poster removals. Security does enforce CC&Rs and can document and report these violations to the Safety Committee and the Master Board. Residents will be directed to follow up with the HOA management for resolutions placed on those violators. Parking violations are reported frequently to our department, and we always do our best to respond to these calls and issue citations when violations are observed. Keep in mind, some of these vehicles parked on driveways are displaying visible disabled placards or license plates, which prevents us from legally issuing any type of citations. A brief reminder that Securitas is currently operating with 1 patrol unit per shift for the entire northern and southern parts of Sun Lakes. That's 1 patrol officer for 3,327 homes, of which 450 are condos. Our patrol officers are out on the field as much as possible, but are at times tied up in other emergent calls, assisting residents that might have fallen, a vehicle accident due to DUI inside the community, or at times even covering our manned gates, which prevents us or them from responding to calls immediately. So if you see them sprinting across the community, just know it's not for their cardio goals. They're out there trying to do their best as soon as possible. Physical altercations and disputes, golf course, neighbor conflicts, etc. Security can intervene to de-escalate and separate individuals when possible and safely. Serious altercations or threats will require law enforcement involvement for backup. Documentation is always key in these situations to hold these responsible accountable. If it's not reported to us, we can't document it and bring it up to the attention of the board or management. My team and I are not scrolling on Facebook for updates, folks. I've always been big on that. See something, say something, so report it to us so that we can document that thoroughly. If we don't hear it, I can't bring it up to the attention of the board. Loose pets and animal control issues. Security continues to work alongside with EPAP Animal Rescue when these calls are placed. We can attempt to locate the animal and provide assistance to the owner if the patrol unit is available and return the animal to its owner. Otherwise, EPAP will continue to search for the animal and house it if possible until reunited with its owners. If the animal poses a threat, we contact law enforcement. If you find a loose pet and it turns out to be a friendly neighborhood dog who just wanted a little extra exercise, please help us out. Because chasing a dog in full security gear isn't exactly an Olympic sport that we train for. Pet owners are encouraged to comply with dog leash laws, as the state of California mandates that this law for everyone's it's for everyone's safety, including for our fur babies. Potential elder abuse or welfare concerns. Security can conduct wellness checks if requested and report any immediate concerns. However, suspected elder abuse must be reported to APS, Adult Protective Services, or law enforcement immediately. Any maintenance concerns, we can also report and we can manage with our administration team, such as the street light outage, water leaks, pedestrian gate issues, and facility concerns. All will be properly documented and reported to administration, where the Sun Lakes Maintenance Department will be dispatched and assist in fixing these issues. Best practices for the district delegates to know how to contact security. Security for immediate safety concerns and law enforcement for criminal matters. Let your neighbors know this is what security can and cannot do. If it's an emergency issue, always contact 911. I always encourage my team to always have proper documentation such as photos, timestamps, and detailed written reports to help us resolve disputes. Use security effectively. Call us when necessary, but also understand our jurisdictions and limitations. If and when our landlines are down, I like to remind all residents that we have already established an emergency hotline that can be called. And please, no smoke signals or carrier pigeons. Just a simple call will do. I am here to reinforce the importance of collaboration between security, planning and compliance, the Homeowners Association management team, and residents to maintain a safe and harmonious community. Thank you for your time. Securitas is here to assist within our scope, and we appreciate your partnership in keeping the community safe. If there are any further questions, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Mike Romero. My email address is michael.romero@securitasinc.com. delegate.com. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, thank you, Mike. I was well aware you were over time, but I think you had very important information for us. And before you leave, are there any immediate questions? Anita?
Yes, thank you. Anita Lawrence, District 18. You just presented the delegates with a lot of very useful information. Is there a way for you to provide a written overview to each of the delegates so that we have that we can refer to when we are faced with various situations in our district?
Absolutely, and I'll be more than happy to provide that, and I'll hand it over to Jason so that way he can distribute it to every single party here, okay?
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. I'll just send it to you.
Got it. Dolores?
Dolores, Doherty, District 4. I don't know if this is going to include this. Several years ago, Joe had included a list of the various things that you can and cannot do. What you're going to supply Anita with, would that include it?
That's going to be included along with some of the details that I provided here today for you.
Okay. One more question. I don't know if it's the one you had. We, Jim shared with me earlier that Banning PD is down 10 law enforcement officers. They used to be down 3, now they're down 10. So if we call 911, what good is that going to do? How many? I don't feel really comforted by knowing that.
Jim?
Mike, Jim Nickel, District 3. There was a presentation with community awareness, I think about a week ago, and the chief was on, and he indicated there are only 3 patrol officers for our whole community. So difficult getting reaction, and of course, we're down 10 officers. They're down dispatch as well, so that's a concern. Perhaps we need to look at other ways to handle our emergencies in the event we don't get a response. I have the issue in my district, as you know, 2 years ago, break-ins and what have you, and we caught the persons, I should say. But the response to the gate was when we all called, it went to voicemail 10:30 on a Friday night. So I was the one to call the PD, and they apprehended the one. We got the other one a few days later. So are we still on that if we call at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock, we're getting a live person when we call the gate?
You should always be getting a live person on the gate. The only time that our lines are down is when we have experienced
Doing a
power
backup?
outages here. And we do have a backup line, which we publicized in the magazine, and I'll be more than happy to provide that number to you guys as well at the end of the meeting. I have discussed with my team intensively the importance of making sure that they're answering our calls. We're the next in line to 911. Emergency situations, I get we're limited to our restrictions and limitations of what we can and cannot do. However, we do what we can out of the kindness of what we see in helping out our residents as much as possible. There are times where somebody has fallen that needs immediate attention. I will do what I can and what's necessary to assist, again, with those limitations that are restricting us, as long as my team is safe as well, which is a concern. If there's any violence issues or a break-in, my guys are not thoroughly equipped to apprehend an individual that might be armed. So our job is to maintain our safety as well as documentation and try to deter as much as possible to prevent any individuals from coming into the community.
I would certainly think your presence would be a deterrence, even if you can't take action, obviously. But anyway, just bring it to your attention.
agree, yes.
Thank you for all you do, Mike.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Carly?
Hi, yes, I'm Carly Beeks. Hi, Mike, question. You say we only have 1 patrol car. That's kind of a concern. Is it because of the funds?
We have Sun Lake has patrol units available. That is a question you might want to bring up with the master board to find out what we can do to better progress in the department.
Okay, my second question is, I have a lot of residents calling me and complaining that there's a lot of parked cars on the street or in the driveways, and, you know, our CC&R says we cannot park in our driveways. We used to use our garage. And I do call your office, and they say, well, if we can fit it in, we'll drive by and see. So now I've been taking pictures and bringing it to your attention.
Yes. Send them to my email. I know I have a few district delegates that immediately take pictures of vehicles that are on the street. And me and Lieutenant Roman, when we are on site, I will go out there and personally issue a citation if I have to. Lieutenant Roman does the same. In the evenings, if you take pictures in the evenings, feel free to send them to me. I'm accessible to the community 24 hours, folks. My phone number's been publicized. Feel free to call me. Take advantage of calling me. It doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I will reply. I will answer my phone for the community. And I will make sure that the team responds accordingly as well.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
No further questions? Thank you, Captain Romero.
Thank you, folks.
Oh. We have one more from the audience. Yeah.
Beverly?
Can you use the microphone?
Hi, Beverly Gwennon. I was wondering if you or someone could give me advice. I realize that people who live outside can get onto our property other than coming through the front gate or any gate, that they have other ways to get in here. And so you don't always see them, right? But on 2 occasions, one that I witnessed personally, and a few months later that I was made aware of, I was here in the evening, I went to the ladies' room, and there were 2 presumably homeless people filling up bottle after bottle of water from our nice water. I did leave immediately. Anita was with me, I told her, and I went to the front security gate and told them that there were people in there. I just wanted someone to come while they were still there. And I don't know what action was taken or what happened. Then I heard it happened again. Obviously, people filling up water bottles does me no harm, but that thing is right outside the men and ladies' rooms. So a different kind of bad actor could lie in wait there in the men's or ladies' room at night when there aren't many people around to commit a robbery or some other kind of crime. So now I'm leery about going to the ladies' room there at night when there's nobody else, there. Because who might be there? More homeless people who came in somehow for something other than water this time? Anybody who can give me advice, I'd appreciate it. I don't think you can prevent everybody from coming in all the time. If they want in, I recognize they can come in probably without being seen.
Why don't we let Captain Romero respond?
Mm-hmm.
So for safety precautions, I always encourage any residents that are walking our communities at nighttime, stay in well-lit areas. Try to walk with a friend, have your cell phone with you at all times, carry a flashlight, walking stick, something that might be able to light up where you're going or even protect you where you're out and about. My wife the same way. When we go out walking or I can't be with her, I always encourage her to take some pepper spray, a taser if possible. You guys need to stay protected by yourselves because we're not going to be there right away. PD won't be there right away. You have to take actions and trying to figure out what you can do to protect yourself when you're out and about. We want to make sure that Sun Lakes remains safe as much as possible. That's the main goal. But like you said, it's hard to see a lot of these individuals that are coming through. So if you're walking around and you don't feel secure in an area or you feel that there might be somebody in the restroom, on your cell phone, give us a call. Let us know. Hey, I have reasons to believe that there's somebody that I don't feel safe around or there might be somebody suspicious in that area. Let us know. I will encourage my team to immediately respond to that and we'll thoroughly document and do our best to prevent them from coming in for you, okay? Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have David Marshall Keeley from the Charitable Trust B.
Wait. Mr. Romero, just one more last-minute question. Could you please repeat your email address?
Absolutely. The email address is going to be my first name, Michael, Michael, period, Romero, Romero, at securitasinc.com. My cell phone number is 909-679-7622. Yes, yes. Thank you, folks.
Now, David Marshall Keeley from the Sun Lakes Charitable Trust.
I don't want to take any of my 3 minutes, but I'd have you stand and take a deep breath, and I'm going to talk about something a lot more fun now. So delegates and administration and master board and everybody watching on Channel 97, either now or later, I'm happy to report that Charity Week, the first full week in June that it's happened most of the last decade, is back. And let me go over the schedule for the week. First full week in June this year, it's Carnival 2025. Charity Week is Carnival 2025. You'll be receiving a lot more information about it. So there's going to be a happy hour. There's going to be a Wednesday pancake breakfast and a helicopter ball drop. There'll be putting events that day, a skills golf event, as well as the typical putting contest that they have. Thursday is the Monster Scramble. Friday is pickleball tournament. And then Friday night is Mardi Gras. It's being put on by the Wine Club. So that's going to be a very fun night. And then Saturday is the Pro-Am shootout and music on the veranda in the afternoon. Sunday, the Pro-Am, and then awards after the luncheon with the raffle announcement. And the things that you do in your district, you don't do alone, you do with a lot of help. And so I'm introducing Diane Arhus, who has a couple of words to say about what she does this year and in the past year. She's a new member to the board within the last year. Diane?
Thanks. Thank you, David, and thank you, delegates. I am in charge of getting sponsors, door prizes, sponsorships, and so I'm one of the people that puts our booklets together. This is what it looked like last year, and we expect it to be very similar this year. We expect it to be bigger this year. And we are asking for your help in distributing it. We want it to go to every household, and we will have it available for your beginning of May meeting, so that it can go out in May and people will have access to it. We will have that in the program itself. Is going to be the layout of the events, and then we will have ads and information about it. So if you could help us distribute that, we will count them out and have ready for your particular districts, so that if you can pass it out with the newsletters that you have for May. That's what we are asking. Please, pretty please.
Thank you. I don't think that's an issue at all.
Okay. Any questions?
I have one question. So it seems like we're going back to the future with Charity Week. Is that correct? That's right. Okay. No more Charity Weekends. It's just Charity Week again. Very good.
That's what people are used to. That has been most successful, and we expect it to be much more well-attended, and everyone seems to like it that way.
Excellent.
I like it that way. Then I only have to sell ads one time a year.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're going to move to Chris Mitchell with the food and beverage report. I guess you're excused.
There we go. Actually, that was great timing for that. This will be the last report I give for this department, and next month CCL will be providing their report. Also, as a reminder for food and beverage, there is a town hall meeting. It's on the website. It's also on the club calendar. Confirmed that Ed Anand put it on there and so that you all know. And in television land, March 10th, Monday, 3 to 5 p.m. here in the ballroom. There will be a meeting with CCL. They will go over who they are, the communication plan, the member satisfaction plan, menu development, and much more. So if you're interested in that, please be here Monday, the 10th, 3 to 5 p.m. Currently, staff is working on the transition to meet the guideline or the timeline of April 1st. And so that is the end of my report.
Thank you, Chris. And now for, I believe, Jason Ewalls, who's going to give us an update from the Recreation Department.
Oh, you can read that.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Cal. Yeah, just go over some quick items. Got some events coming up here shortly. March 21st and 22nd is the Spring Craft Fair. That's always a favorite event of the residents. This year it will be extended an extra hour, so it will go until the 2 o'clock that it used to go to. Again, 2 days is also a big change. Spring Craft Fair normally has been 1 day. This year it will be 2 days, so March 21st, 22nd, starting at 9 a.m. So come on in and check out all the great things that our residents here have put together. April 4th is a Switchback concert. We still do have some tickets available. It's been a little over about 2 years now since they've been back here. They're always a great draw. They're a great group, internationally known. But the tickets go on sale, or are on sale for $15 each. The show starts at 7, doors will open at 6. This year we are doing seating, so numbered seating. When you purchase your ticket, you'll be able to pick your seat. The seats will be numbered, and that way you don't have to line up at the door, 4 hours ahead of time. Switchback? It's a Celtic kind of, yeah, they put on a great show. One of the Marty, he's a world-renowned violinist, so he's really good. You guys should check it out if you haven't. Blood drive coming up same day, April 4th. We'll have the blood drive. They'll be in the multi-purpose room, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you want to make reservations, please do, but they are not required. You can just go ahead and walk in. April 25th, we will have our health fair that is put on by the Visiting Nurses Association. That will take place 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the ballroom here. No cost to attend. There will be door prizes, and we'll have 50, 60 plus vendors from all different areas of the health and wellness field. So make sure you come down and check it out. A lot of times they'll do blood pressure, bone density, a lot of screenings. So a great event. May 3rd, 10th, and 17th, those are the garage sale days coming up. A flyer will be posted here shortly with which districts will take place on which weekends. So make sure you check that out. Last one, May 23rd, shredding event. After taxes, month of May will be a great time to get rid of all the paper you don't need. So Friday the 23rd, for those of you that have done this before, you know how easy it is. We've made it pretty much a drive-through service. You just pull up. You don't even have to get out of the car, and we'll take care of it for you and get those items shredded. One other thing is we did have in the South Clubhouse gym, there was an arm extension machine that was broken down there. I replaced the arm extension and arm curl machine with a double stack cable machine that will allow you to do a plethora of exercises, including the 2 that it replaced. So this was something that residents I talked to down there have requested this over time, and it's a great piece of equipment. I think you guys will all be happy with it. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you oh, yes.
We have a question. Ann.
That's okay.
I'm sorry to hold everybody up. Just as a reminder, a couple of meetings ago, I did ask for the revised list for us to have from Recreation.
Oh my God, let me go ahead and send that out to you. Linda did update it.
Yeah, it's really better than trying to scramble and write down.
Sounds good. Yeah, I know she updated it, so I'll send it out to you. You know what, I'll send it to Cal when I send out the other item as well from Mike. So
You're awesome. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No more questions, and Jason has departed. Now we will hear from the Board of Directors.
Good afternoon, delegates, residents. Here to give you a little bit of an update from the board. Gary and I are going to do a tag team on this today. Chris has already hit some of the major points relative to the food and beverage company, Compass Hospitality, who will be coming in and presenting a town hall for all of you on March 10th at 3 o'clock. They're bringing a slew of their management people, both corporate as well as locals, that will be supporting the facility here. And you'll be able to ask them questions and really understand what their plan is and their vision for the future. One other thing that we probably should talk about, the current plan is for food and beverage operations with First Service to stop on March 27th and then reopen under Compass management on April 7th. So hopefully that won't create any heartburn for anybody, but that is the plan as of this point. If you wanted to go back and see any of the history of how we got here, in January, the board in open session presented an overview of the process that was used to analyze those two proposals. And then in February, this month, we provide a more detailed road to the contract. So there's a lot of detail in those two presentations. If you can access them, I don't know if they're still on Channel 97, but I believe they're available on Good Day Sun Lakes. So that information is available for you. Also, the board wanted to mention that in our open board session this month, we had a legal representative from Fiore, Racobs, and Powers. They're our attorney for the board and the community. And based on a complaint from a resident regarding the process that was used for maintaining our board with only 5 members, 4 members instead of 5 for a period of time, and the timing of what it would take per civil code to do a proper election. He came in and presented to open session the details of our bylaws and the interaction with the civil code that we must follow. The timing that would be required by the civil code to have an interim election before our regularly scheduled election, the timing just wasn't such that we could do that. So in this case, our bylaws were overruled. And I see that the delegates are handing out with their packages a letter from the attorney stating that everything was done according to the laws that we had to follow, and we're happy that that's behind us. So thank you. Gary?
Thank you, everyone. Gary Burkle, Sun Lake's treasurer. First, I want to follow up with what Cal said initially about the candidate forum. I just thought that was a classy job that you guys did, and I just personally want to thank you. It was I thought so much better than it had been in the past, and I guess I got to give all you guys credit for a great job, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I guess obviously the next shoe to drop is that we do have the election coming up. You should be getting ballots in the mail in the next few days, so I hope you all vote, and remember that these board members are here to represent you and your interest, and vote for the people you think will do the best job. On another subject, there's many things that the board is working on all the time. One of the big things coming up and that we're working on now, and we expect to have a contract in the next few days, is the Spectrum contracts. Spectrum's a big contract for us. Over 5 years, it's about, I think, close to $12 million. And it's one of our biggest monthly expenses, but it's a big benefit to the community. Obviously, Channel 97, which we're all looking, hopefully people are watching right now, as part of our contract with Spectrum. Other contracts that the board has signed in the last month or so, we just signed a contract or a contract renewal with Integrity Landscaping, or their arborist really, and they will be taking care of all of our trees on in the common areas, particularly on the golf course. And so that was a renewal of a contract which is about well, actually around $160,000 a year. So, and we think they're doing a good job, so we renewed the contract with them. And it was a recommendation of Mark Birchfield, our golf landscape director. Another contract is we're working on restriping the speed bumps in the community, and so we signed a contract for that. And lastly, we signed a contract also for the AV and sound system in the ballroom here. So we'll have a new system. Hopefully it all will work much better. And that's my report. Thank you.
We have a question. Linda?
Did I understand you, Don, that FSR will cease being our food and beverage provider from, as of March 27th? Will we therefore not have any food service until April 1st?
7.
The contract with Compass takes effect on April 1st, and maybe Chris could explain the reasoning behind the shutdown in March.
So a couple things. The first service piece ends March 31st. And so at that time, we need to make sure that we have all the payroll information, all the tip information, so that the final pay can be done on the 31st and physical checks handed out. They will cease at that time to be first service employees. During that time also of Thursday and Friday, the 27th to 28th, we will be removing restaurant equipment that CCL has asked to be removed. We will be doing a final inventory of all items, dishes, everything that will be handed over to the management of CCL. We'll also be documenting and photographing the existing equipment with asset tag numbers, as the association is still responsible for fixing and replacing that equipment. We'll need to put that in a database to monitor as well, and then basic deep cleaning as we begin that transition. So there'll be 4 days for first service to do that and get ready for CCL to take over on April 1st. Then, as you might know, and again, logistics, you can't just snap a finger and one day it's McDonald's, the next day it's a Burger King. Things change. So there, also during those 4 days, all of the POS systems that are existing have to be pulled out. All of the computers have to be pulled out. When April 1st comes in, CCL then comes in, they're going to install their POS system. They're going to be training the staff on how to use it. It's a new system. So you have several employees that have worked here 6, 10 years and have known one system. There has to be time to get them trained, because and we're going to need the membership's patience, because we want to make sure as CCL rolls out that it is a good product. To rush it will irritate a lot of the members. They'll say, well, you didn't get my check right. We also need to work with the, CCL will work with the back of the house to train them. This is going to be the new menu. This is how we want it presented. This is the cooking, et cetera, to put their brand on it. That needs to be done, and I simply can't do it in a 24-hour period. So, to your question, there will be no food service or alcohol service from the 27th until reopening April 7th. That Monday, April 7th, it will be reopened, and it will be branded a CCL. It's still Sun Lakes, but the branding will be CCL.
Linda?
That's the last, yes, alcohol, bar.
Yeah, some of these things just take time. We have a lot of things we need to coordinate, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. This process has gone fairly smoothly right up until the time we were waiting for legal people to finish documentation of the contract. We actually lost close to 7 weeks waiting for that to take place. So Compass is coming in and still holding the time of taking over on April 1st, even though they've actually lost 7 weeks of development time, and they're pulling out all the stops to try to make sure everything is ready for us when we open. As Chris said, training is very important. It's a whole different ballgame with a different way of approaching what we do. So we're excited about them coming in, but we also need to be a little bit patient as this ramps up. as you come into the town hall meeting, I'm sure residents will have a lot of questions about that, and I believe their management will be very available to tell you what their plans are, so you have a better idea how that's going to play out. So, thank you.
Gail.
Gail Bellick, District 7. Question, with the music on the veranda happening on the weekends, is that still going to happen?
So Jason's going to give that piece of the update because it's going to turn into more of a recreation event. So when it comes to admin, we will have Jason give an update on that.
Okay, and what about alcohol on the veranda?
So Jason will give that as part of the Music Under the Stars. You got to have Jason do. We get sense.
Okay.
And you got a problem, you got to talk to Jason. No, I'm just kidding.
Any more questions for the board? B?
B. Mercado, District 15. My question is, I know this isn't the first I've heard about it because I've seen postings on e-blast or in the magazine, but a lot of our constituents don't bother to go in that direction. I think people who are attending the lounge, the sandwich, and the restaurant should have physical signs that are posted rather quickly to make them aware that the time that these amenities are being closed for a week need to be noticed now so they can make arrangements.
So B, you're exactly right. I actually have, that's why Jason's going to give the presentation because he worked with Adnan for the poster on Music Under the Stars. We will have some items posted at all entrances of the clubhouse, and then of course North and South Clubhouse, just for those people who may have missed it. So that is going to be done.
Awesome.
And Adnan is working on that.
Thank you.
No more questions? Okay, just to be clear, we will not have a Burger King on premise when CCL takes over.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Now, In-N-Out Burger, I'm just, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Day, Mr. Burkle. And we move now to comments from the administration.
Just one last comment. You know, this has been a pretty in-depth, detailed transition here, and I just want to thank First Service for all they've done to be supportive of this change. You know, you never know how things are going to go when you're making a change of this magnitude, and I just want to appreciate, give them the appreciation for what they're doing.
Thank you. Okay, I will give the update for the administration, and then Jason will tag team and probably go to the podium, though. He likes the podium. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a couple project updates. I know that members may have seen myself, Mark Schleiden, Jason walking around facilities. I know we've been approached. One, I didn't have my name tag, and they thought I was an inspector inspecting the North Clubhouse with my whatever. But a couple things that we're working on. The board is addressing, and I know those members that are out there right now near the front door, they get that cold blast of air when that door opens. The board is looking at that. We're having some options for the board to look at, the style of door, because we've heard, and at least the last 5 years I've heard, complaints from everyone who has to have a stand or something there, right there, that it's either during the summer it's too hot because that hot air blows in, or during the winter it's too cold. And so the board will be looking at that. We'll have an update for the board. That's a project we're working on behind the scenes. Another big project that will affect the community is the pavement project on the roads. That will start mid-April. Specifically, you'll start looking at April 16th to the 17th. There'll be some concrete work, and then it will move on to milling and paving all the way through May 5th is what the target date is that Mark Schleiden got from the vendor. So that might be a good little tidbit you put out. We will also be putting on our website the phase map so that you'll see where and when, and I'll also send that to you, Cal, so that you can then distribute it to the delegates of this is the map, phase 1, this is the areas affected, phase 2, and with the corresponding dates.
Thank you.
So we're going to build something on that kind of like a press release alert. Also, we've heard the especially delegates, Linda Spalding, on the phone system and the complaints with the phone systems for several years. I'm just picking on you, Linda, that's all. So the board has asked that First Service move this to investigate sooner rather than later. Randy Robbins was working on this. Unfortunately, he stepped down from the board, but the board wants this to be continued, and we'll have some updates for the board on the meeting of the 26th. As was talked about, lounge acoustics. This is another message to management item that people are upset. We are working with that. Jason has, the vendor, has been working on this. We'll have an update at the next executive as well on our progress. So those are some of the big projects we're working on. And then Jason, there are a couple things that you wanted to add in.
Yes, thank you. So, Gail, back to your question. Entertainment on Friday and Saturday nights for the 28th, 29th, and the 4th and the 5th. They are going to be out on the veranda. They are going to be a music under the stars, which all of you that know that means head out on the driving range, bring your own booze and bring your own food. So recreation will have soft drinks, maybe some candies or chips for sale. We'll do a cash, cash only for that. But other than that, you guys, we're going to have the music out there so you guys can get with your friends and hang out on the driving range and up on the grassy knoll areas and bring your own alcohol. Not on the veranda. Yes, on the driving range,
That's
yes.
big key.
Now, yeah, if you are those that don't partake in drinking alcohol, sure, go ahead and sit on the veranda. But if you do have alcohol, please stay off the veranda. But driving range and the grassy knolls are open to you.
And to enforce that, Jason has hired a band of bouncers. But this is serious, especially during this transition time with the liquor license, because we're going right now, doing things so that CCL can operate for Sun Lakes with that. And I don't need, and I don't think the members want, an inspector coming during that time and going, why is there alcohol on the veranda within the footprint? It can happen. Believe me, weird things have happened here before. Inspectors show up and they got a hot tip. So
Right.
let's.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
But that's what, there will be actually Securitas here patrolling to enforce alcohol stay in that area. Because, again, during this transition, I've had experience where inspectors do come out during transition just to look at the property, see it, and if they see something, that could be bad for the association.
And not to mention, even though our facility is closed, does not mean that liquor license goes away.
Right.
Okay, so it's still in place and can still be taken away, even though our business hours are not open.
Right.
Okay, that's one big thing. Next big thing, and this is something that got put out by you all here, so I hope that you guys will push this out to your constituents. Remember, there is a measure on the ballot this year. It has to do with how you guys vote, okay? It will not take place this election, but if passed, it will take place next election, okay? So remember, push that out there, you guys. It is very important. Going through all this, there was something that was found, and what was found was there's a sentence in the CC&Rs that relates to this in the bylaws. What that means is the simple 50% plus one yes vote will not completely do it. As you know, CC&R change takes 75% affirmative vote from 75% of the membership, okay? That is very, very hard to do. A few years back, when we had to do it by state mandate, we couldn't get it.
Right.
And we had to go to court and petition the court to change our CC&Rs. Same thing could possibly happen here. That's why I said, please get it out there, push it out there. I mean, this is positive all the way around. Every single vote will count no matter what. You know, that's how you have to push it out there. We've had bad things in the past happen. We got to tell the residents that you need to vote yes on this. We need to get, well, don't say vote yes, but tell them what the positives for it are. We need to have we need to get this passed, you guys. If not, I foresee if we do not get that, we'll get the majority, the 50% plus one. We'll be able to change the bylaws, and then what will happen, the board will have to allow legal to go to court and petition, which will more than likely be successful because we'll tell them, hey, most of our community that voted wants the change, even though we could not reach that threshold of the 75%. But again, you guys, I'd like to avoid that completely by getting out there and telling everybody, vote, and let's get this passed. So that's the big thing, you guys. Any questions? Yes, Marcia.
Actually, I have a question about April 4th. You've got switchback in here with no alcohol service. So that's going to be a real big issue to make sure that folks don't bring in their own
Yeah.
alcohol
It is.
Silently.
And that's why we will have patrol here. But again, you guys, switchback was booked way before this was ever even talked about, so.
Which I realize that, but I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, everybody has to kind of take ownership of what we do here. And unfortunately, people like to, you know,
Right.
not follow the rules, so we need to make sure that we get that out to the folks to make sure that they
Correct.
follow the rules.
Correct. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Jason, hang on just a sec. I just want to remind everybody that this is a motion that the Delegate Assembly passed to actually change the way we record votes at the election. Now, you're saying that this change in the bylaws won't appear in this election cycle, but it's going to appear in 2026?
Yeah, if it passes, it won't affect this election.
Right.
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
passes.
it affects next election.
But the membership will vote on it.
This election.
This election.
Correct.
And what we're doing is we're changing the provision that says that if your district does not reach a quorum, the delegate then can vote any way he wants. Our decision was, in a group conscience, that that is not proper, and delegates should vote their district regardless of whether it meets quorum or not, in the same percentages that the membership has voted it. That's what's on the ballot right now. And yes, you should encourage everybody to at least seriously consider or vote for that measure, because it's really what's right for the community. Thank you.
Cal, just a quick comment. Is there a way for you to put that in writing so that each and every delegate gets the exact same verbiage in their newsletter, and probably out tonight or tomorrow morning?
Absolutely. Well, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, sorry. What we can do is provide what we provided the attorney, it was a little summary, just a quick summary of it, right, Jay?
No, we can actually give them the verbiage on the ballot.
Sure, we can give that to you, and then you can put that into, so we'll send that over to you.
Thank you. Okay. We are done with administration, and we will move to announcements from the district delegates, and we're going to start with Charlie.
Hello, delegates and board, customers, residents. My name is Charlie London, delegate from District 23. First, I want to talk about the Friendship Club. You got this little flyer that shows Rob Rasner. He is a comedian, magician. He's coming in this weekend from South America off a cruise ship. He's a very talented musician. You will have fun watching him. You will leave here with a smile on your face. What we're doing now is we're opening up our membership to residents. Before, you had to be a member to participate in our concerts. So now you don't have to be a member. We'll just charge you $5 more, but we want the community to come out and support the Friendship Club, because we are losing memberships, and it's just a sign of the times. The demographics are different right now. People want to go to the veranda party, and that's what they like to do. And if I was that age, I might be doing that also. Anyways, we want is to take this back to your districts and let them know that we need to participate in the Friendship Club. Our restaurant is putting on a buffet every Sunday, the second Sunday of the month for us, and it's $25. You won't be disappointed with the food that Josh is giving us. The next, after this Rob Rasner this week, we have the She Gees coming. They do the Bee Gees ABBA music, and it's a bunch of ladies. They do a fantastic job. And in May, you will have Emily Yates. She's a Broadway performer, and she has a voice that you will really appreciate. I watched her on YouTube, and she's amazing. She was in Las Vegas playing with the Jersey Boys, so she's very well credentialed. She will be here for our May concert. Please come out, and you won't be disappointed. If you've been to our concerts, I've never seen a customer yet leave saying it wasn't a good show. We just need to have people come out and participate. Back to my district, we're planning a spring fling for April. It'll be probably some Easter eggs and a lot of that kind of stuff. I think one of my social recreation people are going to put on a bunny outfit or something, but we'll entertain our districts. We made about $220 on our recycling. It went to our treasurer this for us. Next month, we will be giving to 2 charities. I will probably propose to our committee that we donate to help. We've been doing Faith in Action, and you know that Carol, the job that she did, she was voted, I think, the Volunteer of the Year for Riverside County for doing her volunteer work, so that's quite an accomplishment. A lot of drive that lady has, and we will continue to participate in that and keep our people going. Come out to this Friendship Club meeting, though. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Michael?
Yes, Mike Bowles, District 22. We're having our first party of the year, South Clubhouse, food by Mr. Russo's, and hope everybody's looking forward to it in our district, and look forward to seeing you there.
Kate Reed, District 20. I'm happy to say that our St. Patrick's Day event in the South Clubhouse sold out. We have a waiting list, but we're very happy and looking forward to that. Also, I know that it's only March, but we already need to know about Christmas. District 19 and District 20 have traditionally gone together and had a Christmas party, and this year it's scheduled for Wednesday, December the 10th. We would like to ask any district who has not yet obtained a date or had another date that would like to join us, because we do have the ballroom, and we've only had about 100 people for 2 districts in the last 2 years, each year. So we'd like to have more fun, more people, more fun. If you're interested in having your district join us, please let me know. Thank you.
Hi, Marcia Midget, District 19. Work with the social committee. We will have our first event on May 17th with a little spring fling. So we're looking forward to that, and they're working hard on making it happen. Thank you.
Anita Lawrence, District 18. It's District 18's turn to fill the cupboard for the Banning Senior Center this month. District 18 is asking residents to help make an immediate and tangible difference for a senior in Banning. We are accepting donations of non-perishable food in jars, cans, and sealed packages. We will also take monetary donations with checks made out to the Banning Senior Center. There will be a flyer in your March newsletter that will be coming out this weekend, and if not this weekend, Monday. At the very latest, a box will be on my front porch where you can leave your donations, and checks can be put in the District 18 mailbox on my porch. Yesterday was the candidate forum for the master board elections. If you could not attend in person, I know a lot of people couldn't find parking in the parking lot because the place was packed. I urge you to watch the forum on Channel 97 so you can get information about each of the candidates that are running to make an informed decision. Ballots will be coming out. They'll be mailed tomorrow, March 7th, and should arrive at your home early next week. I am encouraging District 18 residents to vote so that our district reaches quorum and your voice is heard. And on a personal note, I am also a member of the International Dancers of Sun Lakes. I saw all of the dances this morning while we were in rehearsal, and they are fantastic. If you've never seen a performance by the International Dancers, I would encourage you to purchase a ticket. The costuming, which is all authentic, is worth the ticket price of admission alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg Voico, District 16. Good news in District 16 on the distressed homes front. We had one HUD home go on the market before the end of the year, and it has now closed. Went by yesterday, and I noticed old carpeting being taken out. It's apparently getting a refresh. The house on Big Springs, that was the source of a lot of complaints about waist-high weeds, is now on the market and pending. And the one next to me was visited by a work crew last week, and they spent some time in the garage. Looked to me like they drained the water heater. Not sure exactly what they did, but I'm hopeful that that will go on the market soon. Our summer party this year will be in the North Clubhouse on June 22nd, and that's about all I've got.
B. Mercado, District 15. I am in the midst of planning a mix and mingle with my district in April. I do not have a date yet, and I will let you know as soon as possible. Be aware.
Carly Beeks, District 14. First of all, I have a question. A lot of the districts are putting on their parties, and we were always giving 4 gift cards to the clubhouse. I was wondering if we were going to get those this year so we can distribute them to our residents as gifts.
Because you've asked, we've had to withdraw that. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Budget cuts
Did you
happen.
hear that,
know,
everybody?
I'm just
Wasn't
kidding.
me.
I'm just kidding. No, we will have those to you, yes. We can make that
Okay.
happen.
Thank you. And on a sad note, a lot of my people that were helping me, like my social chairperson, Robin Niemeyer, and her husband, they're moving out of Sun Lakes to Northern California. So now I have an opening for my person to help me with putting on the parties. District 14, anybody out there want to help? But anyway, we are planning on putting on a party, and we're doing it with District 9 in the month of June. We're going to do a 50s rock-a-hop. Thank you.
Hello, it's on. Oh, Janice Rice, District 13. I kind of have a question as well. I'm new as a delegate. I'm also have not lived here a long time. In my district, we have little cubby holes underneath our mailboxes. And I have several neighbors that love to shove their mail that they don't want in there. Is there anything that says that they're not supposed to do that?
There's the rule about advertising that would go in there, but no, it'd be the responsibility for that member to take that out and throw it away.
Okay. I was just curious. Taking off my delegate hat, there's nothing really exciting going on right now in District 13. We are trying to get a few things together. We do have some new neighbors moving in, which is really exciting because we've had, for such a small district, we've had many empty homes. So we had 6 and they're filling up, which is great. It's nice having new neighbors, seeing new faces and getting to know everybody. And that's one of my goals is to, get out and do that. Putting on my EPAP hat, in front of all of y'all, you have a red flyer. Now, I have more of these, I just didn't bring them all with me. On April 27th, which is a Sunday, in the afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m., in the North Clubhouse, the EPAP executive team is going to be putting on a volunteer appreciation. This includes you delegates, too. We want to invite all of those EPAP volunteers who have worked endlessly to help in every way, the zone captains, the EPAP coordinators, the program managers, the MRTs, all of those people that have done something in regards to EPAP. We're inviting them to the North Clubhouse for a recognition to say thank you. What I am asking of the delegates, if you would so feel like it, we're looking for a donation of either a bottle of wine or a 6-pack of beer, because we are going to offer beverages. And so that would be really appreciated. You can drink it too. Anyway, so if you don't want to bring beer or wine, if that's something you don't want to do, maybe a bag of chips or something like that. We are going to provide really nice, nice snacks, hors d'oeuvres, that kind of thing. So if anyone is interested in doing that, helping us out, please see me afterwards. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you.
Lori Hazelton, District 11. I have no comments today.
Good afternoon, Jean Dobson from District 10.
First, I want to thank administration for the timely presentation of the minutes from the February meeting. It was much appreciated, rather than getting them to us like a day or so ahead. Second thing, can the fee schedule for the use of our facilities to non-Sun Lakes residents be published and available to all residents? I've asked about this a few times before, and I don't think it should be a secret or confidential. It's a potential moneymaker for us, for those outside entities that want to use our wonderful facilities, and it should not be for free. Next item, each year I note that the Sun Lakes local phone directory has many errors in it. Deceased, not recent. Several times they're still in there, people moved. And I'm curious who's responsible for providing that information to the publisher, whoever it might be, because if it's going to be published, it should be pretty much correct instead of just wondering if it's right or not. And I note from, I can't remember where I saw it, but I'm sure I'm correct in seeing this, that the board is actually considering 2 contractors for our internet service, Spectrum, which is a cable provider, and Frontier, which is fiber optic. Can you please comment on if the change is from, and I think maybe Gary alluded to this, that it's pretty much going to be Spectrum, but if it's not, if it's going to Frontier, what the changeover would look like, because the equipment is dramatically different and could be a lot of upset, and anyway, I'd like a comment on that. Would you?
This one. As far as the spectrum, we had proposals from both Verizon, I mean not Verizon, but Frontier and Spectrum. The whole thing going on these days with regard to TV services is in a transition from using cable, which we have in our community, to streaming, which we also believe is going to be made available in our community. We're not actually sure, but Frontier has told us that they have cabling, at least to the curb, and the reason it's not clear is this was something that was done years ago, actually by Verizon, where cabling was put, or microfiber basically was put in our community. But because we understand that change is difficult, the most likely contract will be signed with Spectrum, which will mean that there will be very little change, or if any. The only changes will be enhancement to the upload and download speed, and actually, believe it or not, a slight reduction in the monthly fees, and something that's called a door fee, which you can, I don't want to get too far into the details of the contract, but if you Google Spectrum door fee, it will explain to you what that is. Well, I'll explain in a sense without getting into the details. It's actually an incentive payment from Spectrum for signing a contract with them. So basically an upfront payment, which we were sort of surprised when we heard that will be available to us, and it actually will be a big help to our operating fund cash account. But I don't know if I'm completely answering your question, but it seems I don't see a high likelihood that we will go with Frontier. But Frontier, in their presentation, showed us that they potentially, or not potentially, they could provide TV service, but it would be a streaming service, and they would put in place all the hardware necessary to do it and make the transition fairly easy. Now, that's a sales pitch, so you always have to look at that with a grain of salt. But we're very close, I think, in the next few days to have a contract from Spectrum, and we think that's probably the direction we'll go.
Okay, I think that's very good news, but I wanted to bring this out now because if I understand it, the new contract is effective in August.
Well, not correct. Well,
No.
Well, our current contract ends in August, but if we, Spectrum has said they're happy to sign a early, basically terminate that contract and sign a new contract with us, which will be effective, it could possibly be effective April 1st.
Okay,
Which I would like it to happen, because the sooner we sign the contract, the sooner we get this incentive fee.
That sounds like all good news. And presumably the new sound system will have new microphones for us here, and we won't be struggling, and make sure that it's always on. Our district party is April 11th, at dinner and auction. Johnny Russo's going to provide the pizza and salad, and it's always a good time. Russo's has great food, and they've been such a good facilitator for our events and very generous to the community. And my last note is, please don't forget to vote. The ballots will be out first of the week. It's so critical that you vote for the best qualified. It may or may not be your friend, but don't let the friend be the first choice for your vote. Make it the most qualified. Thank you.
Linda Vieira, District 9. First, I want to put on my corral hat, because I don't know if we're going to actually have an opportunity to meet in April, because we have the election on April 10th, and I wanted to be sure that you knew that the big corral spring show is the very first weekend in May, and tickets will be available 3 weeks before, so beginning April 14th, you'll be able to buy tickets. Please come out and support the corral. Tickets will be sold Monday through Friday, 9 to 2 in the lobby, starting April 14th. My husband and I have enjoyed being delegate and alternate in different positions for quite a few years in this district, and we really enjoyed it very much. But after the election, I'm going to retire, and so is he. So we have a proposed, well, I've submitted to Cal a resident's name, and she's here. Barbara Faber, you want to stand up, Barbara? Who is interested in taking over as delegate, and I hope that that will be followed through with whatever the protocol is. But I wanted to say that April 10th will be my last time here. So, thank you.
Are you still going to be involved in lifestyle?
Oh, yeah. I'm also president of Happy Cookers.
That's good.
Kathy Aldergette, District 8. Don't really have much to report today. My social committee is putting on a chili cook-off on March 22nd, and they're working very hard on getting that put together.
Gail Bellick, District 7. First, I want to thank our Mark and the group who helped clean up all the tumbleweeds around Bay Hill and behind there so that our area is cleaner than it's been. We really do appreciate it. Our recycling in our district is going really well, thanks to John and Nancy Butler. They've done a great job with that. I want to thank Fran Hanratty for covering for me as I've been out for 2 months, but it's nice to be back. So that's going on. I'm going to lose my notes here. We have an upcoming event on March 22nd. It's a potato bar and Mr. Potato Head and our Irish Springs celebration. And the social committee has just been superb. They've just kept going, and they've got a lot of great ideas. I want to welcome all the new neighbors in District 7. We've added quite a few new neighbors and hope to see them at our event on the 22nd as well. So Thank you, and also, voting is important, but I want to thank the Delegate Assembly and everyone who helped with getting that put together, the town hall that went on last night. It was very well received, and the comments from the community have been very positive. So thank you to everybody.
Nancy Murray sitting in for Jesse, who's in Antarctica. Or actually, he's at the Falkland Islands today. We have nothing, absolutely nothing going on. Yeah, and I will talk to you about the Christmas party. Okay, so heads up to my district, District 6. We may actually have a Christmas party this year.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dave Miller, District 5. April is District 5's month for Fill the Cupboard. March 31st, we'll start taking donations, and all the information will be in your newsletter, and I appreciate that. And don't forget, please, every homeowner vote. Thank you.
Finally, my turn. Dolores Doherty, District 4. And the last workshop that I attended, Linda Spalding brought something up that I totally agreed with, that while we do great jobs organizing parties for our district, but I think we are doing a disservice to our residents by not bringing their concerns to these meetings. That's why we're here. I personally am going to put something in my newsletter to remind them if they have anything that they would like me to bring up during this meeting, other than a Christmas party or whatever party we're putting on, I want them to call me or email me or what have you, so that I can bring it forth and they can, because we're representing them. It's our job to do that. So that's all I have to say. Oh, and I was going to bring up security, because that's always a concern for everybody. But Mike pretty much handled what I was going to ask, so thank you.
Good afternoon. I just turned it off. That was enough. Good afternoon, everybody, and to all my residents watching on Channel 97. And I just want to reach out to Linda. Thank you for what you've done, and you've come up with some great suggestions at our delegate assembly, so thank you, thank you. You did wonderful. We had Fill the Cupboard in my district. I have 144 homes. They sent out the truck, and we filled the truck in half. So we had great contributions, and I thank our residents. We had cash donations as also in that. While I'm discussing for the senior center, they also are always looking for donations in either clothing or food items. They do provide hot meals, and you must be a resident of Banning. You must show identification, either driver's license, ID, government ID, or a utility bill. So they do provide meals Monday to Friday and to-go meals on the weekend. They also have a boutique, and actually the clothing boutique and the pantry is run by Carmen. I have her phone number. It's 9 to 2. They're open each day. And Anna runs the whole facility. And I've been involved with them. I got to know them. And they really do good things for our community. So appreciate supporting them. They're much in need. Also, I want to thank Mark Shudling. Last meeting I brought up about the exterior ground lighting outside our homes on Wingfoot. We have a green belt that's adjacent to Sun Lakes Boulevard. And there was at least 6 tree lights that were out, and Mark from my last meeting got them all resolved. And there's much better lighting there, so I appreciate the effort. And a good afternoon to everyone. Thank you.
Loretta Kuzar, District 2. I'm excited about what we've accomplished this month. And first of all, January was the beginning of the year, as everybody knows. And that's when everything started moving upward. And we're very excited about it. We were very successful for everything that we had to do in January and sharing with the community, and also getting a Christmas tree up. And all of this is late for you, but I wasn't available in January, except putting up the Christmas tree before I had to leave. But it was all very good, and we were very excited. In February, we did the senior center, fill the cupboard. We had gift certificates and food and clothing and cooking utensils, and everybody was excited about that. We had a very good showing for February as well. And we did our share of everything for these past 3 months, and we're thankful.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was thinking it was.
Barbara Elmas, Delegate District 1. Not much is going on in my district, but I wanted to make a couple of observations. As Jean mentioned, the directory, because I have all the records for my district, I went through the directory myself, and I notified the person who produces the directory of all the people that had been deceased and had moved away. And that helped clean up my district's information. For the senior center, checks should not be made out to the senior center. They can't cash them. They need to be made out to the city of Banning, and in the memo you put for the Banning Senior Center. If you want to double check with Anna Sandoval, she can tell you the same thing, but I've written a lot of checks for them through the Garden Club, so I know how it works. The other thing was the gift cards. I was going to ask about them, and Chris did answer that, but my other question is, how is that going to work with a new management company? We're buying the gift cards from the administration office, and then we're going to use them in a facility that's not owned by us, or that's not run by us.
So I'm going to have a pop-up comic book shop, and you can only use it there, okay? No, seriously, this is an item that we are working with CCL through transitions. Another thing in my past career, there's usually a reader that you can use that will read how much it is. They put it in their system. They get reimbursed from the other party. We're working through that, but that is an issue that we've identified because we want to make sure you're able to use, because you will use your gift cards in the restaurant more than the golf course. So that is an item we're working with CCL on.
Thank you.
Okay. One question, why did the election day move from Wednesday after 20-some odd years to Thursday? Maybe you shut yours off.
I believe, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's to meet our timeline for the election and also fit in with the inspectors of election and their schedule as well. There are two pieces to it. You might remember we had to change our voting timeline, I think it was 2 years ago, to begin in December, and so that was one change, and then getting the inspector's election on that date as well.
Also, for the phone book, the rules and regs have been taken out. They're not in there any longer.
Yeah. That was actually recommended by Jim Miller.
But we use that a lot.
I know, but we don't produce it.
Oh.
So we don't produce the phone book, is what Jason's saying for TV Land, and Jim Miller had said to take that out. That was an update from Jason.
Mm-mm.
No, it's
Hey, Jason, why don't you come into this is going to be a question. We can answer Jean's question at the same time.
It really came down to cost and weight of, just like the lifestyles, Linda, you know that very well. You know, it comes down to the cost and weight of that, and 50, 60 pages in that phone book added up, and Jim Miller approached and said he would not like to have it in there if possible. So that's kind of where we're at. And like I said, we don't produce it, so we really don't have totalitarian control over it. So.
Okay, great. I just have a question. That was just the question. That's okay. Right now I'm going to speak for the Pro Shop and David Miller because there's a new event starting tomorrow. It's a 9-hole scramble.
David Miller?
David Goldstein. Sorry, David. Welcome to the Pro Shop.
The delegates need to take a walk through at the Pro Shop to know who the pro. Okay.
It's $5. It's a 9-hole scramble. Should be a lot of fun. And I wish David was here, and maybe we could look at David being one of our regulars. We could ask that.
That would definitely be good.
Friday, February 28th, we had a night glow ball putting contest. And we had 80 people come out to the putting green. And then we all piled into the sand wedge for food and drinks. And it was amazing. Tuesday, April 1st is the next pitch and putt event. It's April 1st. I have control on what I might ask you to do. We are going to have a lot of fun because it is April 1st. And I would say maybe bring your driver because you might be putting with it, or a pitching wedge because you might be doing something else. So I'm going to come up with something very clever. All of these 3 golfing events are $5. So please try to come out. You don't have to know how to play golf when you're putting. The putting green is lit up, and it's just a lot of fun. So I encourage you, please come and putt away and pitch and putt. Thank you.
What time?
Which one?
The pitch and putt.
Pitch and putt is check-in 2:30 at the North Pro Shop. We play 9 or 18 on the executive course. Question?
On the putting green thing that we just had, now this next time, the restaurant won't be open, or the sandwich, so what do you recommend?
Well, it's going to be a little, David and I were talking about that because it has to be dark and we're moving the clocks ahead. I don't think we're going to be out there at 8 o'clock or 8:30 at night, so we're going to be looking at September or October. So for the night, David wants to try one more, and so it'll be after they're in here and doing, but I have a lot of questions for them about some of our events, okay? Any other questions? Thank you.
Cal Martin from District 21. In the district, we are doing 2 events in the month of March. One is the basically a St. Patty's Day celebration, which is on Saturday the 15th. And then on the 29th, there's a cornhole tournament that will be held in this room. Those events are open to everybody in the community, so if you have any interest at all, there is a flyer out there on the rack, and you can take a look at that and come in. A couple of things I probably should have mentioned at the beginning when I had some time to talk. Assigned to me, and that would be, I should have mentioned that Lori Hazelton and Saucy Hyatt were both approved as delegate and alternate at the last board meeting, and we're glad to have Lori back. And I'm sure Saucy is very energetic and excited about her new role as well. We're going to lose, of course, Linda Vieira and Denny Rugelstein, and we will miss them, but thank you for finding somebody, Barbara Faber, to replace you. And Barbara, could you hang around for a few minutes after we're done so we can chat? And that's it. That's all I have to say. So we now move to old business. Does anyone have any old business they'd like to bring forward at this time? And then to new business. Under new business, I believe we have a motion that Anita is going to bring forward.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we ask the master board to authorize attaching the help flyer to all district newsletters in the month of April 2025.
Thank you, Anita. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Linda seconds. And now this is open for debate. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? Anyone like to speak? Oh, Anita.
Yes, HELP is a very valuable organization to everyone in Riverside County. They also serve people right here in Sun Lakes. And like Pat was saying, it's done in a very discreet manner. So we know with food prices what they are right now, there may be some seniors, not only here in Sun Lakes, but throughout the Banning area, that's having a hard time putting food on the table for themselves or for their families. And going to help, these people are just absolutely wonderful in the ways that they help people in this area.
Greg Volko, District 16. Who's going to pay for the flyer?
The flyer would be, we're asking for the master board to fund the printing of the flyer and attach it to all newsletters. That's what the motion is for.
I'd be happy to give you a news brief in my April newsletter to avoid that cost.
Okay, any other comment? B.
I am in favor of the addition to the newsletter. My recommendation would be to attach it to the back of the Community Awareness Program flyer so that you have a back-to-back instead of a separate page by itself. And that would help with the cost.
Any other comment? Okay, I'm sorry, you can't. Jean?
And then how many more are we going to have added?
Could you?
I'm opposed to this.
Greg?
I think Gene might see the same thing that I do. If we do this for this nonprofit, we might obligate ourselves to do this for every nonprofit. So again, I'd be happy to put a news brief in my newsletter next month that you need volunteers.
I'm sorry, audience can't comment at this time. Are there any other comments on this proposal, either for or against? Anita?
It's not just for volunteers to volunteer and help. This is to help people that are in need. But that live in Sun Lakes, and they are providing food that they get from the USDA, their thrift shop, the monies that they make there, they buy additional food with it. And I know for a fact that they recently just purchased eggs that they were giving out, and people were just absolutely thrilled to be able to get some eggs with their supplemental food provisions.
Any more comment? Dolores?
ICC provided a little blurb that we could copy and paste to our newsletters, and I think Greg has a good idea here. And rather than having a flyer attached, which would cost us more, I have 233 homes in my district alone. I think it would be more cost effective to do that.
Any other comment? Okay, if there's no more comments, we'll close debate and we will vote on the motion. The motion before us is to ask or refer to the master board the request to fund printing the flyer and attaching it to all newsletters in the district. And could I please have a show of hands for all that are in favor? And opposed? I do not believe the motion carries. Okay, I'll make a couple of side notes to this. It does not mean that you cannot, of course, put something in your newsletter. I would encourage you to. The cost, by the way, to do this in a black and white flyer community-wide is approximately $200. So I'm not saying we should do it for everyone, but I have no problem with bringing it before the assembly to let them decide whether we do or not in the future. Yes, Dolores? Correct. the motion did not pass, so that, yeah, it won't be attached. Okay?
I'm done.
I'm doing a blurb in the newsletter.
Okay, so I also know that I think Pat's willing to stand the cost from HELP if that's the way he wants it done. Thank you, and we can talk about that and get it coordinated if you prefer it to go that way. Also, there's no problem talking anytime about any of the charitable organizations that are supported by Sun Lakes in your newsletters. I realize we're always topical about what's going on in the particular month that we're in, but sometimes there's a little space or you're looking for something different, and it's not bad to turn to that. The next thing on the agenda that we're going to move to is comments from the membership. Are there any comments from the membership on the floor?
Excuse me, Kelly. I think I'm out of order.
Leah's coming.
Okay.
Leah's leaving.
Hi, everybody. I've been helping to broadcast your meetings since you moved here into the ballroom during COVID. And it's been my pleasure to serve you in that way. I just wanted to let you know this is my last meeting for you. My family and I are moving. Sorry. We're moving back home to San Diego next month. So it's been a real pleasure. I want to thank all of you who have booked Tin Man's Heart for your parties and have been incredibly generous and kind to me and my family. So, good luck.
Are you ready? Sun Lakers are really givers. I mean, you hear it, you feel it. And the Sun Lakes Charity does our best in terms of providing money to charities in the greater San Gorgonio Pass. We have for decades. You heard an announcement about this program. If you know of businesses or clubs, usually buy space in this, and that's part of the fundraising. So I encourage you to contact Diane Arhus. You are opening Pandora's box if you are helping charities that are helped by the Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust. And so if you help a charity, the word's going to be out, and we're going to have a lot of requests. And we have a lot of people here at Sun Lakes. The charities thank us for the money we give them, but they also thank us for the volunteers. There are hundreds and hundreds of volunteers that live in Sun Lakes that help the charities. And you get the feel for that. And I think it's healthy, and I think it's good, and it's not going to go away. We don't want it to go away. We want to continue to help the people who need help. And so we're providing help in what we do, raising money and giving it away. So something has been interesting. I heard something about, well, I hear about it. I was on met with the board today of the Executive Men's Club, and the participants are down. I heard a comment last week that's kind of interesting. COVID happened and people went inside and they stayed inside. We're trying to get them back out, and I think we're all working on that. So thank you.
If there are no other comments from the membership, we just need a motion and we can go home. So moved by half the group. Yeah, right. Let's go home.